Hello and welcome to a rather chilly London for the StudyTravel news video. I'm Matthew Knott.
And I'm Nicola Hancox, bringing you the latest news stories.
So the headlines this week: increase in overseas students for UK universities.
Australia outlines plans to publish agent performance data.
Strong growth continues for Japan's international education sector.
And much more, of course. So, starting here in the UK then.
Yes, the number of international students at universities in the UK increased by 3.6% in the 2017-18 academic year to a record peak of almost 460,000, according to annual data released by the Higher Education Statistics Agency, or HESA.
That meant that international students constituted 20% of all students enrolled last year. China remained comfortably the largest source country and grew by 12% to more than 106,000 students.
Second place India also posted its first significant increase for half a decade, with a 19% jump to almost 20,000 students. The top five was completed by the USA, Hong Kong and Malaysia. Italy remained the top EU source country for the UK and has overtaken 5 other European countries in the last 5 years, HESA said.
However, there was a slight decrease in new first-year enrolments of EU students in the 2017-18 year. Education associations have called for more clarity on the future fee and access to loan status for European students after Brexit.
Okay, to Australia next, where the Department of Education and Training, or DET, has published a consultation paper outlining plans to make performance data on agents, such as student and visa application outcomes, publicly available. DET said agents were integral to Australia's sector and accounted for 73% of 2017 enrolment.
DET has already started providing data collected through its PRISMS registration system to educators, but plans to start providing comparative reports on all agents to providers and to create a public website that schools, agents and students can access later this year. It argued this would raise standards and provide transparency.
Robert Parsonson, Executive Officer of Australia's International Student Education Agents Association, said that they welcome transparency, but the educational outcome was more related to provider performance and that there were concerns over the presentation of the data and the impact of inconsistent decision making by the Department of Home Affairs.
Next up to Japan, where the number of international students increased by 12% to a record peak of almost 300,000 in 2018, according to data released by the Japan Student Services Organisation, the 6th consecutive year of growth.
All of the top 5 source markets increased, including top country China, which increased by 7% to 115,000, and Vietnam, which continued a strong recent growth trajectory with a 17% increase to 72,000 students.
And now for a roundup of some of the other stories this week. The second Malaga Education Week took place last week with a series of events showcasing the city as a Spanish destination and debating industry trends such as the cosmopolitan tourist and the importance of students as ambassadors. The week culminated in the 2019 STlv Spain conference, which was the largest to date.
Very good it was too. Lexis English has officially opened the doors of its new Sydney Manly Beach campus, which features facilities including 2 balconies with views over the beach, a multimedia suite, student lounges and a student support desk.
Looks very appealing on a cold day here. Yes. Student accommodation company Valeo Group has announced a further expansion into Europe with £600 million of investment earmarked for the UK and plans to move into Spain and Portugal.
Quality English has announced English in Chester and Converse International School of Languages as its latest licensees.
The UK Department of Education has announced a new £2.5 million scheme to boost outbound exchange and language study visits for schools.
And Navitas has announced that the 2019 funding round for its Navitas Education Trust is open, with applications from charities for education-based projects welcome.
More on all of those stories on our website, of course, as well as lots of photos this week, including Alfie Spain, an agent lunch hosted by M4X Malaga during the conference, and an English USA reception at Stafford House.
Thank you for watching. See you next week.
Goodbye.